2. Getting ready to get this thing back cracking. Thank y'all for staying with us an additional hour tonight. Reunion requires a little bit more time because we have more people on the platform, and we always run into a time restraint when we're having great conversation. The light kind of gets on me because I like to cut it off and try to keep it as close to an hour because research says that people lose attention span after then. But so we're going into hour 2. And we kind of left off with us talking about the difference in threesomes and is that where we left off at?
Yes.
Where we were talking about the difference of a train and a threesome, and there was some debate about that. And so we can just pick it up right back there if somebody wants to go jump in and start there. We were just talking about the difference. A guy, I think Tara was saying guys can't handle it. And so if you want to just jump back in and start there, what?
So I think where we started off is that it's just a double standard. So we had a couple of people that were saying that if there is a man saying if you want a threesome, they automatically assume it's going to be with another woman. However, there are some women that want to have a threesome with 2 guys, right?
Right.
So it's a double standard because you guys were saying you don't
It's
want that.
cool to have a threesome with a woman when we don't picture that woman as being our woman. Does that make sense?
Are you saying with another guy?
Yeah, right. Correct. Like, it's cool if I don't see no intentions of me and you ever being together, and you want a threesome with 2 guys, and I got a partner, and we leave the club, and I got a chick. Hey, we gonna bang her. Like, okay, you
Vice versa.
kind of like number saying, like, you're not gonna never make it to the mama house. You know what I mean?
So you would give a woman a threesome with another guy if she's not your girl. You just knocking her down, you cool with it.
Yes.
So then why would you just be so open with it being another woman? If that's your wife or your girlfriend or
Because it's more pleasure for her
Period.
with another
it's more
woman.
pleasure for her with 2 men too.
Okay, but it's more okay. So it's more pleasure for us.
No,
with
because
another
let me
woman.
disagree because in our mind you a hoe if you want. I'm just telling you in our mind, man. You can't say our truth. In our mind, if you want 2 dudes to slam you, you a hoe.
And in my mind, when you want
Go ahead, you gotta get
two
close to the mic.
women,
Close to the mic.
and in my mind, if you want 2 women, you're a hoe. So I'm gonna set you out.
And that's why this platform is so cool. And that's why this platform is so cool because we have difference of opinion, and we can have a different opinion and agree that our opinions are just different.
Now, some of my partners. So I can say I can kind of disagree when I say that just because you want 2 men to a hoe. I can say that just you want 2 men to a freak, but I don't want my wife to. I don't want for you to be my wife and knowing that my partner is gonna be in my wedding and put his thing in you too.
So then
And I don't want my man to
why do you
have his mouth on another bitch pussy.
And then don't bring him to
I mean,
the
but
party.
it's really just
I don't want her
hard,
feeling like you make me
I mean,
feel
Well,
we-
okay, so
we grow
when it
so
comes, okay, so when it comes to me, you, and another woman, I feel like we need to have rules. Like, okay, baby, listen, I'm not gonna suck her pussy. I'm not gonna do this to her. I'm
Then
not
it's
not a
gonna
threesome.
doing it.
And then it's not a
Well,
You're
it's-
not my
it's-
man.
it's a
And I have
borderline.
a threesome with you. Either way, boy, 2 dudes and a
But
female,
how
2
are
girls.
we go-
You ain't my man. I'm a freak.
Okay,
We don't freak
but
each other.
if you my woman,
If I'm your woman, I'm not doing a threesome with a male or female.
but
If
you
I'm
said
your
that you would.
No,
prior
I did
on
not.
occasion.
All I kept saying was my man, I'm not sharing. And my man is not sharing me. That is what I said.
You
Please,
said that you
yeah,
want
I'ma
2
set
men, you
my
want
freaks
one
out,
person
male or
running your
female.
mouth.
I'm setting you out. That's what I
And
said.
know what she said?
No,
But-
what she said was, I'm not going to have a threesome with my man. She said, I will have a threesome with somebody I'm just messing around with. But I'm not going to have a threesome with somebody that I call my dude that I'm in love with a man or woman.
Okay, with
I said
with
because I
two-
tried that. I
with
tried
two,
it.
with 2 men, 30, 40 years old, how do I call a 30, 40-year-old to come have sex with another woman?
Baby, come fuck my mouth.
No, I'm saying, how do I call my partner?
Come on over, partner. It's a big booty freak over here. And he shows up. Y'all stop trying to act like
No,
you
we
ain't.
can't. It's hard calling. I mean, we're not young no more. We grown.
Guess what? And with that,
So I
you ain't
gotta
even
call
gotta have a
another grown
conversation.
man and say,
We had a kickback, everybody falling out. We just
no, I'ma handle it.
who gonna start what? Cause somebody gonna start it. and I'll be there to go finish.
That's how it works.
She like
That's how it works.
nasty.
No, I'm like you.
Yeah.
I think just like you niggas, so I just feel like that's why I'm a perfect person for this panel. I think like
No, you're right. That's why you on the single show. That's exactly
And I'm
why.
single, and guess what?
You on the
I
single
got
show.
single and keep fucking everybody else, man. And yeah, we did have a conversation
else,
about that
right?
last time about karma. But guess what? What did single lower women ever do to deserve to be cheated upon? It ain't no karma to come with it. Guess what?
So
I
you rather
say.
fuck somebody than a man?
That's so nasty.
So that's
Other
not-
people.
Why you look at me like that?
What I said, that's not what we said. What you and I talked about is, at the end of the podcast show that you were on, you first started off talking about your guy. Then you said that, you know, and it would, our comments were going crazy because you said you don't have no problem sleeping with somebody else's man.
They don't have no
And
problem
so-
sleeping with mine.
Exactly, and there ain't no karma
What I
because you can be the
said to
fakiest
you
girl in the world
Is
and get
if you're,
cheated on
Facts.
with me. I'm just saying.
But why do you get mercy on somebody else? Let me just say something. Y'all bitches don't be having no mercy for nobody. Y'all have no loyalty. Y'all have no
Period.
respect.
so what I said is how you expect God to send you your own?
Let
I
me
mean,
just
wait a
say
minute.
this.
If he send it, he send it. If he don't, he don't. Cause one thing I do believe in God is that what's for me, don't be for me.
Amen,
Nobody
amen.
come to me. That's me and all my
That's how we have
flaws.
the issue with. That's how we have the issue. I have the issue with these bitches be you know backdooring and sleeping with your nigga and shit, but then they be praying that God send them a good man. Like, bitch, on some real shit. If I just wasn't on some, I done changed my life. But I really be wanting to get with these, especially these hoes that done fucked on my husband. Like I really be wanting to
Yes, sir.
find these niggas y'all be fucking with, just fuck on them just because y'all niggas kind of been over with me because I ain't never been no secrets. Let me just say that for the record. I ain't never been no secret.
Let me just say that for the record.
Motherfuckers been knowing that, you know, I'm his wife. So what I have a problem with is, and understand this, I ain't never not checked no bitch and ain't checked Brian too. He gonna get, you gonna understand, so people be thinking because I decided to stay with him after his infidelities that I got issues with these bitches and don't have no issues with him. Oh yeah, he had repercussions behind this shit as well. But I really be wanting to get these bitches that have fucked on my husband and really be kind of just be on some slick shit with y'all and mess with y'all niggas because y'all, it's like I'm an eye for eye,
You wanna
tooth
get
for a
back
tooth.
on it. You
Like,
wanna get back.
I ain't for no, I forgive you and see your ass in dealers and speak, bitch. I'll come behind you and be on some different shit with you because I ain't never been no secret to nobody. You know, I always knew about me. So I really been just kind of laying low, just letting y'all have this shit because me and my husband on some different stuff. But yeah, I really do be wanting to just kind of be on some good shit
And I
with these
even
bitches for
agree with you
real.
on that, like,
Okay.
you know, the last,
Pray for me.
Boy. Oh my God. Damn.
the last
Woo!
show, you know, they had when Level interviewed us and we talked later and, you know, and I said, you know, I asked the bitch, are you fucking on my nigga? I wanted to know. Because he lied.
So you wanna open that
bitch,
thing up?
I'ma ask you fucking on my nigga because you knew about me and that nigga knew because the nigga went public with me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I ain't making this shit up.
Okay. That's, so are we talking about that dumb or no?
Yes,
Yeah,
oh
No,
yeah.
I'm asking dumb.
She
I
said yeah.
ain't talking
Because
about
we had a conversation off camera. So what you said that wherever you see the bitch.
Man, I'm gonna fuck her up.
Okay,
I'm
so what I asked
on
you.
site.
Okay,
what
so
did I
this
say?
is what I asked you.
What you
I
say?
asked you.
I said,
why
don't
you
put
gonna
your
fuck
hand
up?
on that bitch before
Oh,
you
oh,
on
see,
that
told
Because I
bitch.
told you it's the disrespect because I asked you and then you came back with some smart ass shit because I wanted to slap fire from his motherfucking ass, but he
Right.
wouldn't come over there. And I couldn't address him, but when I see you because I came to you and I was, you know, I'm just asking you, you know, like, hey, because he's saying that this is not what it is, and you in the setting with some of my good friends come out, you didn't give him a key and shit, so I want to see what's going on.
She had
That's not
enough
what you said. So
respect
what
for
you
you
said
to
was
tell
when you
the
asked the
truth,
girl,
and your man
she got smart with you. That's what you want.
The bitch mouth was a little too fly.
So she said, yeah, I'm fucking. So tell me. She said, yeah, I'm fucking him, and so what? And so what I asked you is, did you expect her to be like?
I wanted the bitch to be honest, but she could have said, well, yes. She could have said yes, but you know what I'm saying? He said he was single. I said, you know what? She was like, yeah, and why? You got smart with me. Bitch, so I'm gonna choke the shit out of you when I see you. It's
We got a lot of
on
violence going on in this
Yeah,
show. So
I'm
listen,
saying.
we have to learn how to kumbaya.
No.
Oh, let me make it clear.
Because if y'all know a nigga that we fuck are you gonna
I
kumbaya?
can't hear you, guys. Stay on mic now.
So if I fuck the nigga and you want for sure, because women, we way sneakier than y'all, so don't even, you know what I'm saying? Hey,
Listen,
we,
if you gave the pussy, I can't whoop the nigga because you gave the pussy away. He didn't
y'all
take
be
the
wanna
pussy.
tell them niggas ass up,
Come on,
stop
man.
playing.
I can't whoop the
It's
nigga.
real, that shit
I'm
goes
just, listen.
You can't whoop the
If
nigga
you
because
gave- if he didn't take the
that's
pussy,
the only reason you ain't bringing no beef
It
to
sounds
me.
good.
I'm gonna tell you, I was around my ex, okay? We ain't together. A motherfucker picked me up, he pulled his pistol on me. He pulled up, he said, you touch her again, I'll shoot the shit out of you. And we wasn't even together. So don't tell me what y'all wanna do, because it's
It
real.
sounds good.
Even after the fact.
It sounds good. Listen.
Preach, sister, but let me
You
clarify one thing.
cannot tell me not to reach out to some bitch you fucking because you on some lying shit.
You talking
Then when I
about-
reach
you
out,
said
no, that's what she said.
No, we're
Nah,
saying physical.
That's,
What I'm saying.
let me get to my point. My
My-
point is, you cannot tell me that I can't reach out to a bitch you fucking because you on some lying shit. Then I want to whoop her because she on some disrespectful shit. And then say, if I'm, because you get a pussy away, I can't say nothing to that nigga. But you gonna say something to that nigga, so
No, I would never
if
say
it
that.
sounded good for the camera.
So
But
this is
understand-
why guys don't talk.
Guys don't talk because y'all be trying to make y'all stuff
We
like
don't
y'all
talk
bullshit.
because you don't understand and you won't respect
All
somebody
I'm
else.
saying is this.
All right, I'm gonna let y'all talk.
All I'm saying, turn your mic off.
Let's
All
go.
I'm saying is this.
Okay.
If you tell me the truth when I ask you, I don't have to reach out to this bitch to ask her nothing because here's what you gotta understand. It'd be a whole different thing if I'm a secret around this bitch and you don't know nothing about me. That's a whole different conversation. But first of all, I always tell these niggas like, listen, the first thing a woman wanna say is, check your nigga, don't check me. Bitch, I'm only checking you because you know about me. You know, so you ain't even gotta be my friend. But understand this, y'all be thinking that because we stay with these niggas, they don't have no consequences. But with me, you gonna get some consequences behind that shit. So please don't feel like because I decide to stay with a nigga and work some shit out and be focused on that shit, that he ain't dealing with no shit. Bitch, both of y'all gonna deal with it. He gonna get some consequences and you gonna get some too.
And
All
that's
I'm
the way I
saying
feel
is,
also.
if you don't, all I'm saying to that is this. Don't give me a reason to reach out to the bitch. Just be like, yeah, I'm fucking her. Or whatever, and let's deal with that shit. But if you be on some real shit, I ain't got no reason to reach out to no other bitch. If you just tell me what the fuck is going on, I ain't gotta reach out to no bitch to ask her if she fucking on you. And then this little bitch get on some disrespectful shit because disrespect goes both ways. You only have a problem, which Dominique is saying. I only got a problem with the girl, not because she was fucking my nigga, because my nigga owe me that loyalty, she don't. I got a problem with the hoe because she was on some disrespectful shit and she knew that was my nigga. That's why that's a
So
problem.
what is whooping the gonna do?
She ain't whooping her.
What? I didn't say I was gonna whoop her, but I will slap, I will reach down to my motherfucking ankles and slap the shit out of her.
So
That ain't
my
really
question to
what
you
you gotta
guys,
do.
to you and to that.
If you touch him, you gotta move.
My question to
Don't
you
have
is,
you to
what
die.
is that gonna do when you whoop her?
Listen, you gotta understand.
She taking back
You
some of her power.
you a man, so you just
Y'all
gonna, you just
say
gonna
that
get
shit,
it.
fuck.
They just still the fuck.
It
So
don't
what
matter.
is gonna do when you whoop her?
Same thing you do when you text a nigga and be like, stop fucking with my wife. Don't fuck on my wife. Don't talk to my wife. It's the same shit. It sets the same precedence. It let a motherfucker know don't come around here playing these games with me. And that's what I have a problem with these bitches in Central Arkansas. Y'all be getting these bitches passes and shit, so they feel like they can do that with anybody. And you gotta understand when you run up on me, I ain't giving you no pass. I don't do passes. We ain't in school. This ain't no hall pass shit. So y'all be thinking that you got too much to lose and don't touch the bitch. No, because you gotta understand when you come around my way, it's a whole different conversation. Like, we gonna be on some whole different shit. So whooping up just make me feel better.
And
I ain't even
let me
gonna
say
whooping
that I have
up.
never slept with anybody man that I know. Have I slept with men and found out they was with girls? Yes, but they are not with anyone that I know, friend or friend or associate or none of the above. And then let me say this: if I do fuck your man, start swinging before you see me, because this is a battle. I will fuck your man and beat your ass. So
It's
get
double
it
It's double
together, have it together,
Listen,
okay?
all I'm saying is, Dominique, when you explain the situation, what I did say was, which is the truth. All I ask is that you hold the dude accountable in the same way as you hold her accountable. So, because
Whoop both of them, what you saying?
Right,
so
well,
you
you
gotta
know,
do something. Somebody got to
Because you can't be so upset
you
with
know,
her and not
I'm
him.
gonna say this, I'm changed. I don't physically put my hands on anybody. I
But you got a home girl that'll do it for you.
Left the bum might still work.
Period.
I
Don't
don't
be
think put my
acting
hands
like
on my mama, because especially that man, because I don't want him to put his hands on me, because then I'm gonna shoot his ass.
He was. That's why you go hard from the beginning.
All I'm saying is, just,
Did you?
I know someone, I feel like if you know that, if a woman come to you and you know the truth to it, just be one enough to say yes, you know what I'm saying? He said he wasn't with you, and this is what we've been doing. And a woman can respect you more, but when you come on that smart shit, like you asking for an ass because bitch your mouth too fly and you done wrote a check that your ass can't cash.
It go back to what I said. Be able to fight if you approach me about your man, my man,
Me too,
any
that's what I
man,
said. You
any
gotta
friend.
Listen.
Because just be
And
ready
that's
to
how
how
you
I
know
respond
it's
to
like,
it. It's
Yeah,
just gonna
you
be
know
how
that.
I respond to it. I will fuck your man and beat
And-
your ass when you
and
ask me
here's the
about it.
People ain't just taking no ass with
You ain't gotta take it, but you gon'
I
get
win
it
by any
around.
means.
I don't give a fuck about what you gonna take. Listen, my mama told me when you get into a fight, this is my honor and I keep this shit in my head. My mama told me when you get into a fight, only two things gonna happen.
Right.
You gonna either whoop your ass or they gonna whoop your. It don't matter, but you gonna
You gonna know
see
you
me.
better
You
And let
gonna
me
see
tell
me.
you, I have never in my life fought over a man. Yeah, females can approach me and I may have to beat their ass. I'm not proud of it now. Having to fuck your man and beat your ass now. I'm not bragging because I'm not proud of it.
Right.
But what I will say is that know what you're dealing with. Any man that I have to put if I have to put my hands on a female because of a man, I promise you that man will see me first.
That's for sure.
He gonna see me eventually
Oh, that's
in the same manner that
Oh,
it's
that's
not
true.
gonna be
That
no
don't be no
excuses.
That's
It's,
true.
it's not gonna be none of that. I
That's
have
true.
dealt with somebody and I have friends have that and slept with my ex and we can talk about it only because of the type of people that
Yeah.
we are.
That's for sure.
You know, it's because of who we are that we can sit back and talk about it now.
That's all I'm
Yes,
saying.
I was
I'm saying.
hurt about it, but at the same time, I gotta respect you for your position.
But just don't say, so to those women that's watching, just don't be like, just don't say, I've seen a meme going around that says that if a man is cheating, they always stay with the weaker one.
That's true.
That's not true.
That's not true.
They say
Like-
the one that's gonna keep taking them back. I believe that.
No, like
I believe that.
I've
It ain't
heard
true.
people, and that's first of all, that's dumb as fuck to me. But you gotta understand that because people don't just publicly speak on shit that happens, like I don't know about anybody else, but I speak on mine. Like, don't feel that I'm just gonna easily forgive this motherfucker to the right of me, and I'm still wanting to put my
If he
hands
fuck
on
you
you.
good,
Like
you
you gotta
forget.
No ma'am, no
No,
ma'am.
I didn't get it.
That's a lot of women
No
now.
ma'am.
And that goes back to
That's
toxic
that's all I'm
relationships.
saying.
See, some
That's
men,
that
that's all they
desperate
know how to
shit.
do is
But
keep
that's that
women
desperate
fighting.
shit. Listen, there are many. I ain't no desperate ass woman, and so I had so much more going for me outside of my physical attributes. I have a lot going to me where I ain't just gotta be fuck good and shut the fuck up.
Right.
Like,
You're the best fit for the job.
and understand that you have to. All I'm saying to that is that don't feel like because a motherfucker decides to work on their marriage and or relationship, they just weak because this motherfucker been on some fuck shit.
Thank you.
Like just because we don't publicly talk about what he had to endure on his behalf and what I had to endure on my behalf doesn't mean that then shit happened. Shit happened. So understand that. But at the same token, when I'm trying to get him to understand as it relates to your situation, Dominique, is it's more or less about just some respect type shit. Like you cannot as a woman be on some I know this your nigga and you fucking with this nigga and you come fuck with this nigga and expect there not to be nothing behind dealing with me. However, I'm also not gonna let this nigga go scot-free and I'm not saying do nothing.
But just like you said, when there's not a communication, you don't know what he's telling that woman. I can see that man with you every day, and when he come with me, I know the time he's spending with me. I was in a relationship. This man told this woman he was working overnight because he never missed a night at my house. Okay, and it's a whole baby mama. They had real history together. You know, I'm asking her, how do you think this your man and he ain't missed a night here? Because I don't allow it. Once you fuck with me, you kind of stuck with me. So he didn't, and we was going back and forth like, oh, he my man, oh, he my man. Bitch, he just your baby daddy. When do you see him? But it was again, I had to sit back and take some time to myself to see. She don't even know what he's told her.
No, that's not true. Let me just say
That's because you can be with somebody every day and y'all
Women
not
only believe-
define the
But
relationship.
people only believe what's told them because that's what they want to believe.
That's true too.
Motherfuckers believe what a motherfucker tell them because that's what they want it to be. They wanna feel like you gonna leave your wife. They wanna feel like you gonna leave your husband. They wanna feel like me and her ain't on good terms. They wanna believe that shit because in some part of their mind they feel like they have a chance and an opportunity.
That too.
Ain't no way no motherfucker can go.
So
Listen,
who's to blame
you
though?
cannot tell me that. You can't tell me that you don't wanna be with this person and you found out in love, but you going home to them every night.
You
Nigga,
gotta be smart.
this is your opportunity to
If
pack
you know-
your shit. So what you mean that we're not in love no more, or we're having problems, but you're going home every night? When you have an opportunity to spend a night with me, you have an opportunity to pack your shit and leave. That's dumb shit that people, they program in their minds to believe the shit what a motherfucker saying because that's what they really want it to be. That's dumb as fuck because listen, I ain't always been no angel. I done messed with bitches, men and shit, and husbands, one baby. I done met with people, whatever. But at the same token, I knew what he
How many?
That ain't the point.
All I'm saying is, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't feeling like I'm no angel because I done that shit, but a motherfucker couldn't feed me nothing that I didn't want to hear. You know what I'm saying? Like, a motherfucker couldn't tell me no shit, and I'd be like, really?
So who's to blame?
Who's to blame for what?
Who's to blame? Is it the woman for believing his lies when she only wanna believe her man?
That ain't her man, though. You can't listen, that ain't you. You know who's to blame? She is to blame. Because let me just say this.
But not him for telling a lie.
That's a lie. That's what niggas do. That's what. Listen, and I don't understand it because you ain't gotta lie, pillow talk to get in the draw.
Right, but if you gotta be so you gotta be. I'ma fuck you if I want to anyway.
And my
Tell
point
me
is
the
that.
truth.
My point is that.
Now you
Brian.
got up and turned
My
around.
point is that
Yeah.
if you got, I said that on the podcast when there was this bun came and I said, listen, if a motherfucker wanna fuck with you, rock with you, screw on you, whatever, it doesn't matter what you tell them, they gonna do it anyway. But all I tell motherfuckers is don't make that decision for me. See, when you make the decision for me to decide if I want you to be on some cheating shit, see now you gotta deal with me because you trying to make a decision for me you didn't allow me to make for myself. Let me decide if you want to have an open relationship for a year.
Right,
Let
it
me
goes
decide.
back to protect my feelings.
Yeah,
me
let me
being
decide. You don't get a
protected.
chance to make that decision for me. So yes, the woman is to blame for believing that bullshit. Cause how do you not? Especially for a motherfucker you got feelings for.
Right, and let's normalize men telling the truth and being the protectors that you're supposed to
So
be.
you know,
Because you're
so
damaging
listening
a
to
woman
you guys-
when you tell all those lies. You really are.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
damaging her.
Listening to you guys, and
But
I know
then
all
she
of the,
crazy.
I know all of the women, the guys across the world. We get blamed for anything. We're the fuck ups. Y'all can sit here and have a conversation, and it's all us. And that's another reason why guys don't sit down and have conversations with y'all. Is because you're not gonna win the conversation anyway.
Oh, that's not
I
true.
feel like men just never take accountability. Say that I was wrong, or that I honestly feel like I don't want to see you with no another man. I don't want no open relationship. Men only come to you on a relationship tip because they don't want to share you no way.
That's true.
All right, what's
Okay,
that?
we know it's women out here who fuck up because I know a lot of good men out here who have been fucked over by some weak ass women who couldn't understand what they
Don't call them weak sis.
No, they should be weak.
Well, call men weak.
They be weak too, but
Okay.
bitches be weak. We
Well,
not gonna sit
well,
up here and act like it's
Y'all
women
like
out
y'all
here
was
who
born strong.
who
Like
don't
y'all.
So we only strong because of what you put us through. Is that what you about to say?
What I'm saying is there are women out here who do mess up on good men.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so those good men feel like by the time they do get to a good woman, they're so damaged. It's the vice versa with a woman and a man. By the time they get to the person who loves them, they don't know how to accept it.
Right.
Holy fucking true.
So let's move to another topic that we talked about in season 1. Everybody on the podcast have kids. How do you guys feel about your mate disciplining your children?
No, none of that.
I will beat your ass if you touch my child.
She's a pretty girl.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Dumb.
Tell me why.
Yeah, kind
Yeah, because he's stupid.
And the discipline doesn't have to be physical.
I mean,
Oh,
It don't have to be physical. It don't have to be physical.
Okay, well, I thought you were talking about physical.
No, we don't it don't have to be
Oh,
physical.
okay, well, yeah.
Telling them
No,
right from
listen.
wrong.
I'm gonna tell you, we have to be If we're not married, we not be damn it engaged for you to even just, you know, it can't be no in a relationship. No,
Yeah.
we have to at least be married. And I just can't see. Call me, let me know. I know, you know. Call me, let me know. Just don't handle it by yourself and be into it. Especially if we're not married. If we're married, you get
What if
handle your
you're serious?
business.
What if you're
And then when I
serious?
get home, I'm handling it too.
So if you're engaged and you're serious, you're moving to marriage, would you be comfortable with it if you're
Yeah.
engaged?
Shit, yeah.
Okay, alright, Donna?
Hell yeah.
Like I said before, my kids have a father, and we discipline them, but if I'm with a mate, he's welcome, he can redirect them. But I don't just want a stepfather to come in and just beat their ass, you know what I'm saying, being all physical, but you pulling them to the side and having a man-to-man conversation, a man talking to a young boy, cause I have 2 boys.
Okay.
So, I don't want a man to come in and then they grow up to hate their mom because I'm letting this man just beat his ass every time he feel like they've done something wrong. I think it should be a conversation with mates.
Okay, alright. T?
I agree with that. Physically, no. Just, the daddies can't even whoop my kids.
Married or not?
Mama, I'm the only one that's allowed to physically discipline my children.
So if you're
Can
married to
he-
somebody and he's providing for them, he still can't,
He can let me know, and we can have a conversation, and we'll move on from there. Physically discipline a
I
child.
put it better.
I have all authority with
You
that.
get
My
discipline.
kid's father cannot even discipline my child. It's gonna be a problem. When he discipline them, I'm gonna discipline him. It's my way. Alpha
So
female.
your kid's father can't discipline
No.
your kids with.
No,
No, I'm talking about their biological father.
no,
okay.
no.
Bond, on you.
Oh,
Talk to me.
me personally, is if I'm in my child's life, I don't need you to raise my child. I got that.
Okay.
Alright, so if my baby mama is with another guy and my daughter or son did something, I don't need you to put your hands on her. I need you to say, hey, I'm gonna call your mama, or hey, I just don't want another guy, because he's not gonna whoop my son or my daughter like he probably whoop them a little bit harder.
How do you know?
That, but what, hold on, see,
This is problem.
this is what I'm saying. If I'm in his life, or if I'm in my child's life, I don't need another man disciplining my child.
I don't think that matters.
Okay, but I'm telling you me, I'm not telling you.
Here's the thing, what
Okay.
I'm saying to that is that,
Can I finish?
go ahead, 'cause I have a long
Okay.
understanding, I have a long
Okay.
description.
So this is what I'm saying. If I'm not in my child's life, if I'm dead or I'm a deadbeat daddy, then
Yeah.
who gives a fuck who disciplines the child? I'm not in their life no way. This is me, sis. Everybody is different.
Just say I'm
Okay, so this is what I'm saying. If I'm in my child's life, I don't need another man trying to tell my son how to be a man.
But it takes a village.
That's my son. Let me raise my son. Just cause me and his mama didn't work out doesn't mean that I can't raise my son.
Alright, let me go.
I don't need another mother.
I agree with you.
I don't need another man to raise my son.
I just feel like
Let me
you
go to the
need
conversation.
No,
Okay.
just cause me and you didn't work out,
Hold
nigga,
on,
that
bro.
don't mean I can't
So
raise
let
my
me go to the
son.
Facebook comments because we haven't said anything to these people in a while. So Kim Miller says society has gotten so used to putting labels on what women to do, or what's for women to do and what's for men only. Joy laughing emotion says right, Shanetta. I think she was talking about these tricks out here. Monica said you ladies better speak on that. She said these niggas out here really living the lies for real, sis. Been there, done that. Antonio says facts. So everybody's trying to get one up on another. Antonio expounds and know what you're talking about. Denisha said she's enjoying the podcast. She's loving the podcast. Thank you, Denisha, so much. Antonio, you can't tell us how to run out loud. I mean, our podcast. I mean, y'all got to keep talking to the people, not just a circle combo. Boy, you can't tell us how to run out loud. Anyway, he says what, and then hand up his information. So anyway, let me just say this. And everybody has a different way of doing things, and you have to just kind of you have to agree to disagree. But the kids inside the home can't get positive attributes from somebody else outside their parents, but not the negative attributes. That comes hand in hand. So when I say that, I mean You can't have the stepdaddy buying for the kids, giving them chocolate,
Okay, so
picking them
that's
up from
wrong.
school, buying them new Jordans, but they can't tell them when they done something wrong. And so what that does is that now every time if you allow that to happen into your ex's household, what then happens to that is that every time some shit happens, I'm gonna call my daddy. I'm gonna call, and you can't come in that woman's house and tell her what to do with her
That's the
kids
opposite
or her
of what he
Whoa,
said.
whoa, whoa, let us speak first, go ahead, Susan.
So you can't come into her home and then because your child says because here's the thing, you can be an active parent without being in the household. You don't have to be in the household to be an active parent. You also don't want because for me that teaches your kids how to be disrespectful to another adult.
Amen, yes, it
And
does.
you're gonna respect adults. You can't just respect adults when they're doing something conducive for you. They can't just not respect them when they're telling you something that's right or wrong. Because then at that point that becomes being used and nobody wants to feel used. And here's the thing, Vaughn, you're not gonna be in the house every day with the kids. You're an active father, but you're not gonna be there every day when things are happening and take place. So yes, be active, be an awesome father, but you also don't want to make your kids believe and program to I don't have to listen to you because you're not my daddy, and I'm gonna call my daddy because that's disrespectful. So, and I just don't want kids to be taught disrespect, just being on some disrespectful shit.
Okay,
See, now
sis.
with your mom, and I'm gonna choke your ass.
Okay, now sis, I don't, with my situation, I don't ask him to do anything. That's not his responsibility to take care of my kids. I don't need you to buy him no jewelry. I don't need you to buy him no clothes. That's my job.
That's
material, that's material
Now,
too.
please,
That's material.
please. I don't need no another man to take care of my kids as long as I'm living. If I'm an active father, I don't need you to do nothing. I need you to take care of her because you married her, so you do whatever you want to do with her. Okay, that's fine. I don't need you to take because I'm an active father. My son live with me and I still pay child support.
But it's a broken home.
But it's not, I don't give a fuck what she do. Or him. That's my son. Or that's my daughter. I don't need you taking care of my daughter. If my son or daughter do something in school, I don't need you to go to the school. I don't need you to be on the fucking call log. They can call me. I don't need you to discipline my son and tell my son
It's
what
not
he
that they
did and what he
need
didn't
shoes
do wrong.
Or not.
That's
If
my
I'm
fucking
with
job.
someone and stepmama me, okay, because I ain't having no more. I'm gonna buy your kids just as much as I buy
I don't
mine.
need you to buy my son
Exactly.
shit.
It's not that you need me to do it.
Okay,
it's that
well,
I'm
don't do
willing
it.
to do
Okay,
it.
and
It's
I
not
thank
me.
you for that,
Come on,
but
TT.
spend your
It's
money on
extra.
something else.
It is
But
extra. Like
I'm
I'm
telling
an
you,
extra
I'm there
parent.
for
I'm
mine.
a bonus.
Okay,
Parent.
but
But here's the thing,
TT,
though,
I don't need
Talking
you.
about
you being there for your kids doesn't negate somebody else being there for them.
And I
Here's the
respect
thing,
that.
Here's what you gotta understand.
Okay.
Not that I wish anything ill will on you, but you can leave here today,
Mhm.
and you have taught your kids not to be respectful for somebody that can take to fill in your shoes.
Yes.
Here's the thing.
I disagree with that.
No, no,
I'm not
no.
teaching my son to be disrespectful to this
I'm
man.
not saying that.
I'm telling this man, I don't need you to take care of my child.
It's not needing, is what I'm saying to you. That's
It's
not
a
needing.
choice.
When
It's
you
a
meet
decision.
somebody, here's the thing, you are not, that's why Brian says this all the time, I totally agree. It is meant for people to be with their kids, parents, and it is. Because things like this happen. So when you marry somebody, you're gonna be with somebody else outside of your ex-wife. You're gonna be with somebody else outside of your ex. You're gonna be with somebody that you don't have kids by. And when you marry that woman, you're marrying her and her children.
True.
So you cannot expect for their dad to come in and say, I don't need you to, I can buy my kids shoes. First of all, that's material things.
Right.
There are so many things that the kids miss out on and not get in the household because you have taught them to not need somebody else but only you.
Right.
Respect.
And that's just not right.
But did you hear what I said when I said I'm a full-time father and I still pay child support? So it doesn't
But that's-
matter.
but
But
Okay,
you ain't
hold on,
showing your
hold on,
kids that love.
But that's my
You're not
answer.
showing
It's not
them what
about-
they're
it's
witnessing
not-
through the
Well,
day.
what you mean, how is that, and they live with me?
Listen, let me say this.
What
Let
are
me
you
share-
talking about?
I
Hold
didn't
on.
say that part.
What are you
They
talking
live
about?
with you.
I'm a full-time
What are you
father.
showing
My
your
son
kids how to
lives
love?
with me.
Talking to Mike Bob.
Are you showing your kids how to love? Do you have a significant other that you're loving? That
I
you're
don't have to have a
showing them
significant
how
other
to
to show them
love?
how to
Let me,
love.
hey, T, let me say this. I think one, as a father, man, you know, first of all, you have to kind of trust the person, the mom that you with, to really know that they're not gonna bring somebody around your children
Absolutely.
that doesn't mean good for them. As a stepfather, we say stepfather. I've adopted the baby, so they my son.
Right.
Kane, you never even knew that Jaden wasn't my son, right?
Bullshit.
Right, Kane?
I would call him Lil Level. That's his name.
Yeah.
And the reason why I come to the mic, Kane,
I
and
don't
the
even
reason
know
why
the I call him Lil Level.
when he come in the shop, Kane, and I'm on his ass.
Yeah. On his ass.
And I'm on his ass, and what I'm saying is you can't have me to love your son like he my own, but not let me whoop his ass when he in the wrong like he my own. Because if in my own, but I think, Bun, it goes back to getting to know the person.
That's
Right.
I think if you got to know that guy that was at the stepfather, to know his morals and his
I
values,
give
you
a
might.
fuck about this, so at the end of the day, if my son do something and you whoop my son, me and you gonna have a motherfucking problem. At the end of the day, cause I'm active in my son's life. I'm active in I don't need, now, if I'm dead and gone, then do what you do.
So, Bun, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. What if? Let me ask you this. No, we're having a conversation.
Go ahead.
So if the mom tells me that it's all right to do that, the mom has custody of him,
Kind of physical custody, yeah.
and so there is.
All over that, bro.
What if you had a woman and she has children?
I was with a woman for 14 years and never laid hands on her daughter.
But did
What's
you
your
be
mama?
I always told her,
She's a girl.
when your mama get home, I don't give a fuck.
I just
I don't
told
give a
her
fuck if it was a dude. I
difference.
told that little boy, hey, listen, when your mama get home, I'm gonna tell your mama what you done.
That's right.
It's
That's right.
different with a
That's
girl.
right.
I'm not gonna lay my hands on that child.
It's different with a girl.
And that's me. I don't give a fuck how y'all raised. But at the end of the day, if another nigga lay his hands on my kids, we got a
Let me just say
motherfucking
this, bro.
problem. And I'm done with that
Let me just
conversation.
tell the camera this. If you date my daughter's mom, man, if you a man, if you touch my child, I'm gonna get you. And then my daughter's mom, I'm
Was
gonna
that a
get you.
shout out?
That's not, the girls are different.
That's absolutely.
Girls are
That was a
different.
shout out.
I'm gonna read the comments real quick, then we'll go back to that really quickly. But let's see. Latoya says, I'm in, coach. Tanya says, right, Shanetta. Tony says, see, respect goes a long way. Becky says, taking care of her is taking care of her kids too. Antonio says, Bun, sometimes you gotta ask your sons. Hold on, T, hold on for a second. Antonio says, talk to him, B. Kim says, how are you a full-time father at the show right now? She said, what are your kids doing now? You don't know. It's their daddy making their asses sit down somewhere. Plus, he watching you talk shit on here.
Amen. Amen. Hallelujah.
That's real.
That was some real shit. That's not
our
our shit.
Lashonda
real
says, okay, this dude is simple-minded. Kim
Period.
says, very and drunk. Bartender, no more drinks for pops. So let me just say this. All I'm saying to that, Bun, is that you have, first of all, you have to trust that your child's mother, they're not gonna have anybody around your kids who's gonna mistreat them. So you have to trust that they're going to make sure that your kids are in good hands. Let's just say that for the record. And everybody
But I don't know.
So,
if
I was
that's
gonna say,
right.
sometimes
I
women
know
don't
if
even know if
that's
they in good hands.
Well, that's true.
But
That's true.
but
What
I
I'm
would-
saying to
okay.
that is that, okay, so, as you know, I have children, Brian has children, whatever, but when it was like visitation with my ex-husband, first of all, those are my ex-husband, those are my kids' fathers. So I would just say, when I have to take them Friday at 6 and get them Sunday at 6, I would say, okay, they're just taking this medicine, I'll see you Sunday at 6. I don't give provisions on, don't have them around such and such, don't take them, don't do that, because that's their father. So I have to trust that he's gonna have their best interest in
No
hand. So
matter what.
why the fuck am I gonna be telling him, don't let her comb their hair, don't let them, that's kid shit, because again, I have to trust that they're going to be in the hands. Well, let me just say this in discipline. So let me say this, and I will speak for our situation. When this happened, when he and I got together and we got married, at the beginning, his thing to me would be, the kid said such and such, the kid do such and such. I said, you're here, you're my husband, and at that time, you're their stepfather. You're gonna have to deal with that on your own. If not, the respect that you're gonna demand later on, you're never gonna get it. If every time they do and say some shit, you keep telling me, they're never gonna respect you. So was it difficult for him to do it? Absolutely it was. But then now it came to, okay, listen, sometimes like sit your ass down, I'm just like, because first of all, I know that he has their best interest. He's not gonna do anything to hurt them. He's gonna make sure they're straight. So I can't allow him to pay basketball fees and take them to the game and buy them shoes and that shit. But then when it's time to get on their ass, I say you can't get on their ass. Like you cannot let them just have the good portion of it, but not, because here's the thing, positive attributes has to do with everything. And so that means if they're off the right track, you have to trust that they're gonna try to get your child back on track. It has nothing to do with them just being on some fuck shit. Now if you think a nigga on some fuck shit with your kids, that's one thing.
Okay, but that's a different, that's the difference between your situation because y'all married. So
Well, yeah.
as far as your relationship, how would they go?
Well, in our relationship, I still made them respect him. So when he was at our home, you respect him. When we went to his
As far as
place,
discipline during a relationship.
it was the same thing.
I don't think it was any different because at the end of the day, I think she knew. So everybody, let me just go back. Everybody don't get that privilege if they don't earn that privilege.
Yes.
I think the father has to earn that privilege to be responsible enough to be disciplining your kids.
Absolutely.
And that's why I told Bun, you kind of got to get to know the dude.
But when do the male know?
Well,
When
my
do the
son.
male know that now is the time I can discipline your kids?
But see, Kane, that's the other thing. You kind of got to get to know. You got to know who's in the house with your kids.
Right.
You
But
gotta
when
know
your
that.
kids don't like them, it's no arguing with that. Like, my son don't like.
So, Bun, back in the day, neighbors used to whoop our ass.
So did-
No.
So you ain't
We're
got
not
to
talking about back in the
So-
day. Okay, we talking about my son, Bun B son.
Okay.
Alright, I have my son in my house.
Right.
He's 15
Why don't he like it?
because he talks shit to him.
Why?
Because
He doing something I don't know he is.
at the end of the day, my son don't like it.
But see, Bond, you have to learn. You have to figure out why.
Okay.
That's the.
I mean, I know why.
you
I
like
just don't want. I just don't want to put the shit out.
Okay, I get that.
Okay, okay,
So,
okay.
Sometimes
So
kids can
my
say
son,
things like that
hold on,
just
hold
to
on. My
provoke
son
the
don't
parent,
like
please the
his
parent,
mama's new husband.
just to please the father.
Now, he respects him because he's older than him. But my son rather say, Dad, I'd rather live with you than go over there and disrespect my
And you
mama's husband.
allowed that.
Okay, cool. Well, I'd rather take care of my son and still pay child support every fucking Friday. Alright? My son live with me and I still pay child support every fucking Friday. No problem with that. But this is what I'm saying. Go back to the beginning. I don't, even with my ex-wife, my daughter's 15 and my other son is 16. I don't need no grown man coming in the house trying to discipline my kids.
And obviously
Like,
you're not
it's
gonna be
my
the same
fucking
man.
job because I'm in their life.
That's how you feel.
And a lot of
When they
kids,
go through
they do
something,
to
they
please
call
the
me.
parent.
What do people say?
If the parents don't want you
People are
having a
saying,
stepdaddy,
listen, people are saying, Bun not angry, he was passionate, man. Kimberly says, I bet he's an awesome father, I can tell for real. She said, it takes a village, that's all I'm saying. She said, because he listens to his daddy. So she said, your son don't listen to the stepdaddy because he's listening to you. That's why.
amen, that is
She said,
true.
that's why his son don't like the man.
Mhm.
And Becky says kids know how to manipulate parents.
Yes,
That's
they
the
do.
truth.
That is the truest point. They do.
That's kind of why I said you have to
That's
investigate.
it.
You have to ask enough questions. You have to know, get to know the stepfather. Now, I'm not saying get to know every Tom, Dick, and Harry that
Oh, for
comes.
sure.
But what I'm saying is when she goes to marry somebody, I think it's my job to want to know about this
Well, my
dude. If
kids
he's
don't get
living
around.
in the house with my children, I'm gonna want to get to know. I'm gonna take him out to eat. I'm gonna sit down and have some conversation about him, about where he can get to know him for myself. Because I might be cool with him disciplined if I know what type of dude he is.
Right, and that's vice versa. So when men get with other women and the baby mamas don't be liking the girlfriend, sit them down and have a conversation. Because what I do believe now is that if a child doesn't like if a girlfriend doesn't like the baby mama, it's gonna affect the child in some type of way. I want my mind at ease if I send my child with the father
Oh,
and he
absolutely.
has a girlfriend. If I know she hate me, ain't no telling what she will do
Right.
behind the daddy's back. Because again, the daddy trusts her.
Absolutely.
Have a conversation with these baby mamas and girlfriends. They always, why you gotta meet my girlfriend? It's out of respect.
Right.
They don't want you, and clear that up. We don't want you.
I think that takes first of all, I think that takes
Mature.
a different type of woman. I think that women has to be over that person for that to happen. Some
Mhm.
women still have some attachments and feelings and emotions, and so that's not an easy thing to do.
And it starts with the men not ghosting the women
So
so that they can
So
have
we
those
are said Becky. So
conversations.
Becky said kids know how to manipulate parents. LaShonda Morel says, stop allowing Bond to speak. She said, every ounce of knowledge y'all are speaking to him is going over his head. He's not going to learn anything differently. Stephanie said, some kids can be very manipulative sometimes and don't want anybody saying that to them. Well, let me just say that.
What did Bond say to Lil Mama?
I don't know, because I can't see that. But
It said, fuck you, I believe what I believe in, and I'ma stand on that. Because at the end of the
don't do
day,
that.
I believe in what I believe
Don't delete
in.
your comment. Delete that comment.
I believe in what
Delete that
I, no,
comment.
I'm not, sis.
I'm
Because,
gonna block you.
well, that's fine, because I believe in what I believe in.
Here's the thing.
But you want to be able to have.
It's
you know,
an
have
open
that
forum, and
See,
that's
we-
your
okay,
opinion.
here-
But I believe it, okay, but if they said don't let Bond speak on what he believes,
That's
I
not
can
what
say,
she
well, fuck
said.
you
That's
then.
not what she said.
What?
She didn't say that.
What did she say?
She said-
Stop letting Bond read it.
Well, she just said it's going over your head. You're not.
It's not going over my head if that's what I believe in.
That's
If
so that's
if
what
you
I'm
a
saying.
Buddhist and
Yeah.
I'm a Christian, I'm not gonna downsize you because you believe in what you believe
What
in.
she's saying
So
is,
you can't downsize me for believing what I believe in.
That's what I'm saying.
So
brother.
fuck
What I
that.
wanna say,
Take me
brother,
off the show.
it's only that if you allow that child,
Hold on,
Hold
Tara.
on, hold on a second.
TT.
I just want to say, Bond, when you're on here, we're opening ourselves up for criticism. So you kind of gotta be, you gotta kind of be open
Period.
for somebody to have an opinion that's different than yours.
and I think if you had a conversation with your son, even a fake one, just about being respectful to the stepdad or the mama boyfriend, he would
Amen.
feel different. He is doing what he needs to please you.
yes, a lot of kids do that.
Kids do
They
that
do.
sometimes, but
And they
stand,
don't make it
at least you
out.
stand for what you believe. You
Absolutely.
believe it on both sides. Whether it's you with a woman and she has kids, you don't basically want to have nothing to do with them kids.
And you're gonna one
You
day
don't
fall
stay
in
in
love
your
with, you're gonna one day
position,
fall in love with
and
somebody
that's
that
vice
has
versa.
kids.
At least you
That you're
stand
gonna
on what you
marry and
believe.
be in a household with, that you're gonna want them kids to respect you. You're gonna one day have somebody that have kids, you're gonna marry them, and they're gonna be in your home, and you're gonna demand some respect for them. At that time, your kids may be grown, but you're gonna demand what you're now saying your kids don't have to give to somebody else. And you have to just kind of be open to that. You have to be open to, all I'm saying to that is it does not teach them, it teaches them, like the people said, it kind of teaches them manipulative behavior. And it teaches them that, you know, first of all, you have to let your kid, I have the conversation with our kids all the time, we're not gonna always be here. So you have to have that conversation with your kids, like, listen, I'm not gonna always be here. I'm like, but you cannot run to your kids every beck and call every time they pick up the phone. You can be out of town doing a bond, you can be out and having a good time
Out of
in Texas,
town doing
Vegas.
the bond.
You're not gonna always be readily available, so you have to let your kids know there are other people outside of me that's gonna be here for you, be supportive to you, motivation to you, and all that. But so to say that they have to be depending on you because you're an active father, it's not going to teach them to be able to depend on other people that can love and care for them and provide for them more than just financial reasons. All I'm saying, but it's
Cause
just
that goes back to kids not wanting to see anyone with their parents other than their parents.
that's
If you're not the mother and father, they don't wanna see a stepmama, they don't wanna see a stepdaddy, they just want their parents to come together and be together. You know, other than that, they causing hell in both households, so they don't wanna be.
Yeah, so
It's about
let's see.
respect.
Let's see. Oh, where do we start? Yeah, so I think Stephanie read her. Some kids can be very manipulative sometimes and don't want anybody saying nothing to them. I guess LaShonda is responding to Vaughn saying, well, you need help, you do not need to raise children at all. Becky says, ooh, I would hate to get in an argument with Vaughn, LOL. Kimberly says, camera person scoop the camera off Vaughn and turn his mic off like he did to do in Heartbeat. So Temptations, Joy says, Joy and Nisha said they're just kind of enjoying the show. But,
And one thing that I can say in looking for a husband, well, you know, waiting on a husband.
wait, okay.
If he does come, I'm expecting a positive male role model. If you're a drug dealer, don't see no history with me. Yeah, I like the money. I'ma fuck you. Okay? But I can't be
Yeah, he
with you
married
because
her.
what are you teaching my child? You know, I have a friend, my son, I'm a female and I have a son. And I'm not gonna lie, it is hard
It is.
on me. Like, the little motherfucker keep jacking off of me is just like, I wanna beat him. I don't wanna see it. I want a man to talk to him about those type of things. I bought him the Vaseline, but I can't even tell him what to do with it. I feel uncomfortable having that
What was
conversation
you
with
doing
my
at his
son.
age?
I had a baby at 15, he's just 13.
Okay.
I was at the skating rink probably hunching.
Okay, so
Then-
you had a baby at 15, so that means you was fucking at what age?
No, I only had sex at one time and got pregnant and had a baby.
Okay, so
So it's different from
so
14.
what was you doing before 15? Was you playing with yourself?
No.
Or was you just that was your first time just?
That was my first time. I danced on boys, like at the skating rink, like dancing. Like,
Okay, so
I don't know.
are
I tried to
you
go back to
surprised
when
you
I was
started
younger.
at 13?
I am.
You started at
surprised.
15.
Okay, but what am I supposed to do?
You
What
say
am I
it's
supposed
gonna
to
take a man to
tell
kind
them?
of help you with
You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking for that father figure
Yeah.
Okay,
for
would-
my
would-
son.
would-
I can't. He got to work.
Would you rather play with himself or get a girl pregnant?
I don't want neither one, but I think out of my 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy, I think he's going to be the first to make me a grandma, a Gigi, no grandma.
No grandma teacher.
But I need a. When I am looking for a man to be my man, if I'm approaching a situation for this man to be my man, I'm asking certain type of questions.
What
Like,
kind of man
you
tell a
have to
young
be able
man
to-
about jacking off?
What's wrong with it?
Do it.
I said, what can a man tell?
Because every young man has done it is kind of what he's saying.
I mean, he got a rub and burn, which means he ain't using nothing. Or he doing something wrong. I don't know, cause I'm not a man.
how you know
So,
you got a rubber? You saw him? You saw him?
yeah, and I took him to the doctor about it because I don't know who else to go to.
We just found some lotion and some.
I bought the Vaseline,
Okay.
but I don't know how to tell
Listen,
him.
We
to
have
get-
there.
because it's almost like I have girls and I try not to do the double standard thing. That I'm okay with my son jacking off, but not my girls.
That's why you need to get yourself together and get you a man. Stop.
Oh my God.
So Dominique,
Tell
what do you
us
think about
about it.
what do you think about that about discipline as it relates to your boys? Because you said you have 2 boys. So what do you think?
Like I said, it depends on the person. If I know that man loves and respects me, I know he's gonna love and respect my kids, and he has their best interest at heart. But they do have an active father, and I'm all about their father meeting my significant other, and I let them have that conversation. But I'm okay if it's out of love, but I don't want to just
Can I just say, let me just say this, not to our children, we have very real conversations with our kids. Like, we're not on that, your private part, no,
Right.
we have real ass conversations with our kids. And I do that because that's kind of how my mom raised us. And so I have a father, biological father, but my stepfather was an amazing man. Like, nobody in our house he had no children in the house with us. And so far, it was just myself, and I have 2 older sisters and my mom. And for my mom was a young mom, so he never touched any of us, none of that. When I say he was the perfect, when I say perfect, I have told my biological father in conversations with him, like, my daddy is dead, because that man was just that. So a lot of times our kids get to miss out on people that can be good to them, good for them, because we're so caught up in it not being us. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're so caught up in it, not being us, being that parent with the other parent, or
Being
I don't
real
want you,
daddy.
yeah, I don't want you to, that's just your
Extra
stepmom, or you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't understand. Kids get double the love, especially if you're an active parent. If you're an active parent and your past mates with somebody, they get double the love. They get double the
Addition,
pleasure.
not
Yeah, so it takes nothing away from what they get. It actually adds to it. And so sometimes our kids can miss out on that because we get so center focused on that's not your real dad, that's not your real mom, that's and so it puts the kids in a very bad situation. And so it's just
Me, for an example, my kid's father was engaged to someone, and my son would come home and be like, "Oh my God, she baked me a cake. We baked cupcakes." And I was like, "Really? Was it good?" I didn't say, "You ate that bitch cupcakes." You know what I'm saying? I was okay with that because I know that she was loving on them and she paid attention to him. I didn't want to take that away from him. I was pleased that she spent quality time with them when they're not in my presence. That let me know that woman loves them because she loved their dad.
absolutely.
And
But
I
if
was
she
okay
was
with
doing
that.
something that wasn't a
Yeah.
great thing, if she was disciplined, if she was punishing,
Well, she
if
disciplined.
we
She
feel cool with that.
disciplined them before, and it was I just felt like we did have an issue once before, and she had a daughter. She had one child, and she would let her daughter hit on my son, and she didn't do anything about it. But then they said that my son couldn't get her back. So I did tell my son the next time she hit you, slap the shit out of her. And maybe I shouldn't have told him that, but I expressed to his father, I teach my boys not to hit girls, but if you guys are not gonna tell this little girl not to put her hands on my baby, then, I mean, whatever she gets is what she gets.
Right.
Yeah, but I teach mine, he who hit you.
Well, you know, I will say, and as I tell my friend Bud, you just have to be open for different opinions. Just because we believe in it's all right to discipline, that may be something that he may never become.
Yeah.
This podcast was
listen.
meant to just give different perspectives.
Absolutely.
It doesn't make our way or his way right or wrong.
That's true.
It's your way of thinking.
Can I say that it seems to be, which is, and you guys may agree or will ask your opinion, but it is much more harder on the woman being the step parent than it is the father.
Yes.
Yes. You know, for the women, it's, you know, we have to do more nurturing. We have to be a little bit over excessive in our caring. We have to really kind of overexert ourselves with our stepchildren and their parents to make them know that we're really there. Like, I cannot think of a time that, right now I've been married for 7 years, I cannot think of a time where I've actually disciplined neither of my bonus. I call my bonus because I still do. But I've never disciplined them at all. I don't think I've ever even told them no. Like, I've never just, I've always been yes, do, yes, because for a number of things, because I wanted them to approve of who I was. I wanted them to like and love me for that. So it is much more harder on the woman coming into that role than it is for the man. For the man, it almost seems like an automatic.
And maybe that if they were in the home with us, it would be a little different. If they were staying with us, I don't know that you could say if they were living with us that I'd never disciplined because they would be there all the time rather than just coming on weekends and whatever. So, yeah, I agree it's much harder on women. And that's why I go back to saying, you know, when you go to having blended families,
It's
a lot of
hard.
times they don't blend perfectly.
But I can say in Bun's defense, his kids, I've met his kids and they've come over, they're well-mannered children. And his one son who came over, he was just like, you know, I could tell that Bun is on them and he wouldn't, it's like, I'm like, oh, relax, you can do whatever you want to do, you know, just chill, we chilling. He was like, okay. So I know that he's not teaching his kids, don't respect their step parents or your mama's husband because he's a great father. I can say that about him. He's a really good father and he has well-mannered children and loving kids, very loving children.
So let me just say this. It doesn't negate. So I don't want anybody to think and or believe. And anybody watching the podcast, if they're watching in the future. It doesn't negate on who he is as a man, as a father. It's just his beliefs, what he believes. And so, again, our podcast is just for the reason that it's for, which is just for kind of open dialogue. So we're not in any, I don't think anybody is saying or anybody believes. I have in personal conversations have commended him for the things he does as a father and as a man. So that doesn't take what we feel, what he thinks doesn't take away who he is. It's just you want people to be more open and honest because let me just say this, and I tell our children this all the time. My mom would tell us growing up, my mom was a young mother, but she would tell my sisters and I growing up, I ain't gonna always be here, I'm not gonna always be here. And so we depended on her for so much, because we grew up, she was young, so we grew up with her. So she would just kind of say all the time, I need y'all to know how to do this, I want you to know how to do that, because I'm not gonna always be here. And so losing her made me see, okay, she's not gonna be here. So those things that she really kind of put into us saying I'm not gonna be here are the things that made kind of factor into who I am today. So that's what I'm saying all I'm saying to Bun is that be open to there being a village of people to be around your kids to kind of help in their upbringing if they are. It doesn't take away from you being an active parent. You are committed as a young black man to be an active parent, especially a full-time dad. But just be open to you may not always be there. And so you want to be open to it, people outside of just their parents being there for them. And then double the love, double the standard, because it means a lot that I can get something from you that I may not get from somebody else. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not, which they're not, but if my children, my biological children, if they happen to go with their dad, they're not, but their dad, I would hope that somebody would love them the way I have love for my bonus kids. It doesn't always happen, but that's what you wish for. So who doesn't want to wish for somebody, for your mate to give, especially if you're not in the household. Who doesn't want to wish for their mate to be with somebody that's going to love my kids the way that I love them. So that's kind of everybody's wish when you have kids outside of the house also.
All right, real quick, is there anything that you guys want to talk about? Any questions that you need?
Yes,
some
T wanted me to
answers
ask downstairs. T said that she wanted me to ask, and I'm gonna ask this for
Okay.
everybody that's single on the panel. You guys are single, so I want you told us what you wanted to look for in a mate and what you want to your characteristics. So we want to know, what are your flaws? What's preventing you? What is it about you that's preventing you from being in a relationship?
Communication is key, but I have a hard time communicating. I feel like my actions speak. I mean, my actions do a lot of, do a lot of the talking.
Especially during sex.
Especially on what?
Sex.
I can't hear you.
Especially during sex. Your actions,
But yeah,
you show them
right, actions, right.
the communication.
So I know that-
What that mean?
If I blow it, then it's, that's that $4. Back on $4. But yeah,
Communication.
Okay, but.
Lack of communication.
Huh?
Mm-hmm. What's your flaws?
I'm a tourist, so I'm kind of stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say, I'm very open and loving in the beginning, but when you bullshit me, I shut down. That's my fault. I shut down, I kind of block you out, and then all the bullshit you got, you talk about. And we probably could potentially work on it, but with me being so stubborn, it's like, I don't really shit you got to say. Really? Yeah. I'm trying to work on it. I'm violent.
No shit, no bullshit.
Very violent.
You're violent
I am.
in relationships as well?
We making this. It's not a natural.
Like what type of violence? Like physically, mentally? Do you have like violent rages?
Physical, I can answer that. Physical.
Physical.
That's all she been talking about,
That's
busting
the
somebody.
windows
I do not, and again, I cannot, another flaw is that I cannot take some of what I dish out.
Okay. That's
Being that, just like being violent, I cannot take a man hitting me or putting his hands on me. If you mad at me, you better fuck me like you mad, but don't put your hands on me.
But you
any
gonna hit
other
him.
time.
Yeah, she gonna hit him.
But I will hit you now. You have to just take the lead. And again, this is a conversation I have
You
with
don't
my
look in the
friends.
mirror and ask, why are you single?
Yes. No. I don't ask that question,
No,
but I know.
wait, what? You
No,
said
because
yeah,
I
you
know
said
why I'm
no.
single. I'm single
Did you hear
because
my
I'm
question?
violent. I'm single because when I'm dating a person, I
Run the
become
person off.
I become
I can't hear you,
completely
Buzz.
submissive where I forget about myself. I start working for us instead of me. If I'm focused on you and us and you're not focused on me, then I'm losing. At the end of my relationships, for the most part, I feel devalued. And that's not gonna happen anymore.
So you gotta find a balance.
At the end of your
I-
relationship, you feel devalued? Is it
Yes,
when it's
because
almost
I've
over?
been invested so much time, so much effort. I can see the change in you when I'm finished with you, and the only change I can see in me is devalued than when you even got me.
So what about you, Bun?
Okay.
I can't hear you.
I think my only flaw is that I love.
You love hard.
It's hard for me to let go of somebody. So like, if I'm with this person and we don't go together no more and we broke up, it's so hard for me to let this person go. I could meet somebody else, but it's still so hard for me. Like, I can't let go. When I love, I love. I can't let go unless they leave me. You see what I'm saying? That's why I haven't been in so many committed relationships. 'Cause it's so hard for me to let go. Like, they gotta let go of me.
So if
It's
you
hard
let
to
go of
get.
them, you still love them.
Yeah, I feel like it's
Back
still
to
something
back
that.
to that gentleman part, what I'm saying,
Yeah.
it's
See what I'm
hard to say
saying?
that I don't wanna be with you, I wanna put you in a frame.
Right, so-
It's
so
hard,
like-
it's hard saying.
So this is the thing about why my relationships bomb so bad, and I'm talking about this is with my first son's mother. Even when I met my wife, it was so hard for me to let my first son mom go to either be with my wife because I didn't want to let her go because this was my baby mama. She's having my first son. I still love her. We might could make it work, but I got a hell of a good woman right here. But she weathered through the storm.
Right.
And when I finally, when she actually let me go, I ended up marrying this woman that became my wife. You see what I'm saying? And then that happened with my next relationship 8 years later. You see what I'm saying? And then 14 years later after that, I ran into another woman that I fell in love with, but I couldn't let the 14 years go.
So does
You
it
know
take
what I'm
14
saying? So I feel like once I'm with somebody, I'm with that person. And I can
Take
love
for
that
them,
person.
so you're saying it takes for somebody to leave you alone for you to let go.
But let me
If
ask
they
you a
don't leave,
question.
if they don't leave you alone, you're never gonna let go.
I'm not gonna, yes. Correct.
So do you still remain friends with your exes?
No, now when I can't really say exes because
They're
my-
your family.
well, yeah, because the last two was my baby mama. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I just
Besides,
wanna say one thing.
right,
is
so
that
I can't-
The more time you spend with a person who you love, once you love, I agree, it does not go away.
That's true.
It does put it on pause, the distance in between you, but when you get back together, if you love them, you will always love them. If you keep bonding with exes and old friendships, you're maturing that love, you're growing that love for that person the more time you spend with them, the more you communicate
So
with
when I
them.
have a question, so how do you, if it's for them to leave you alone it's for them to leave you alone for you to kind of let go, what happens is it just lingering feelings and lingering emotions until that
I
happens?
mean, okay, so like, I'm finna be 40 in a couple of months. So I realized in my journey of living, of things to do, and a lot of times is going to a person and being straightforward with the person,
Yeah.
saying, hey, listen,
Yeah,
and this is something that you taught me, sis, that bond, you're not gonna never just kill that until you go to it and kill it. Like, hey, listen, I love you, but it's never gonna work between me and you.
yeah,
To be straightforward with that person. Now, that was something that I learned from you, sis, to be straightforward with this person. Like, listen, I love you, but it ain't gonna work.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And just deal with that situation then to deal with it saying, hey, I fell in love with another motherfucking woman, and now you snapping with me, I'm snapping with you, now we got an attitude, but
Yeah.
sometimes not going by what you saying and going about how I feel lead to just a bunch of bullshit, but just to be straightforward with a woman, say, listen, I love you, but the shit just didn't work, we just couldn't get on the same page together, I just think it's better for us to go our separate ways.
Yeah.
That's hard for a man.
Okay.
It is hard for a man to say that.
Okay, so I have one
Especially
final
when they
question.
still love.
One final question for
Have we
you.
finished
go
that,
on.
have we finished that question before we move on?
Is this
Hold
closed?
on a second. Go ahead.
Let
Is
me,
this closed was
hold
the
on,
first
before
one.
y'all answer that she asked, hold on. So, Becky said she's going through the same thing with her son. Kiana says, what's her name? She said, what he said, let's see, Shay says, so you still emotionally attached. Vicky says, what's everybody's sign? Babe, what's your sign?
Aquarius.
Taurus.
Virgo.
Team Taurus, baby.
Cancer.
So,
Okay. Let's see. Kimberly says, I knew Bun was being bitter about talking about he'll need the niggas take care of his kids. This was a touchy subject for Bun, I could tell. She said, Bun, just let go of his kids and enjoy life. Monica said, so he's a hoarder. Sean says, having closure definitely helps you go forward, but hurt people. That's some true ass shit.
That's what I'm saying.
Hurt people. That's
That's
the
what I'm
truth.
saying.
Yeah, so, what was your question?
Dominique was getting ready to reply to something before we moved the mic.
yeah,
What
well-
were you saying,
Well, this is my thing. You know, for you say you let go of your ex, y'all agree. I don't know what happened to let go. But how many times do you agree to let a person go? How many times do you let a person keep walking back into your life and ruining your life?
Grandma used to always say, you're not sick and tired until you're tired of being sick and tired.
That's true. I'm tired of being sick and
So when you get to that point, where you like,
Are
you
you
know
at
what,
that
I'm
point?
tired. Yeah, I mean, I got to that point.
You gotta put the mic in front of you.
I got to that point. You know, and in the beginning, I wasn't at that point. I was tired, but I wasn't tired of being sick and tired. And once you get to a point that you tired of being sick and tired. Like I'm tired of being tired of being tired. You know, I gotta let it go. No matter how much you love somebody, if you at that point, like, I mean, let them
Sometimes
go.
you have to love them enough to
Yeah,
let them go.
let them go, let them live.
Absolutely.
And the only way you can live is to let them live and to let them go and not be bitter about the situation. Like to see them out, able and have no strange feelings about this person and just continue to live your life.
But it takes closure for that.
Yeah, I mean, either it takes closure or time because a lot of times you don't get closure out of a relationship. Sometimes it takes time. I learned that from my partner and his wife. But sometimes you don't get no fucking closure. You don't get to understand the why. Why this happened?
Yeah.
Why this went this way? Why this like okay? I never got closure of why my twin brother died. It just takes time for me to deal.
Did you make up your own conclusion or what?
No, I let God let me deal with that.
That's
It ain't got
for
nothing
his
to do with me.
understanding.
That ain't got nothing.
All
Some
right.
things,
Well,
some things we'll never understand. We just have to let God just heal that wound. So the same thing in relationships. Sometimes we don't get closure in a relationship, and it took me 4 years to let a woman go. It took me 4 years to actually let a woman go. To get no closure behind it, but to say,
I'm done. I'm tired.
I'm good. I'm good now.
How did you feel after?
I'm good. Oh, what? Shit, I'm good.
And that is exactly what he's saying, that he said that we've had some very extensive conversations, and that was my conversation with, him, is that, I always ask people, there are so many people that ask for advice, and I don't mind talking and sharing, and it's just that, just make sure before you open up your heart and your mind to something or somebody else, you gain some type of closure, because if not, now you've opened up a chapter that you hadn't even closed the previous chapter. And so now you have somebody else involved you have an innocent party involved in a situation that they didn't even have to be involved in. So, and we all fall guilty of that, so let's not act like we all haven't done it. We've all done it at some point with something and someone, but that is kind of the focal point. Just make sure that you have that, and clarification and conversation. Communication, clarification, conversation, hallucination, like, for sure.
So it's 2 hours. Was this healthy?
Absolutely.
Was
I think
this
everybody
good?
enjoyed it. Everybody enjoyed it. It was
Alright,
good.
good time.
Good little thing here.
So before we close out, one more time, give your social media handles. If somebody wants to get in contact with you, inbox you, whatever, give your social media handles. We'll start with
And
Kane.
y'all, I'm trying to go to Kane on Sarah because he be getting my husband cut and he be looking fine.
Stand in the pump, baby. Stand in the pump.
First, man, let me give it up, man. Long live Lord, man. Rest
Oh,
in
for
peace,
sure,
Lord,
for
man.
sure.
That's my guy, man.
Yeah.
That's my brother, man. I had to shout him out, man.
Absolutely.
You can
Yes.
find me on Facebook, man, Eddie Kane. Instagram, Kane and Barbara. 501-766-7558. Eddie Kane.
Daddy Kane.
Dumb.
You can find me on Facebook, Dominique Smith, and Instagram, just the one.
T-Terror on Facebook. Juicy Queen Styles, because I am the juicy queen that
Juicy.
styles.
Listen,
All right,
teeth
Brian.
and high demand.
It's your boy Bon B, the comedian. Bon B, the bell bonds, and Bon B, the truth, and Bon B, the prince, man. Y'all follow me on all social medias. Y'all need to get out of jail. If you need license to carry a concealed gun,
Wrap it up.
which you may need, you can come take my class. Starting the first of next month, I am starting to sign up people that want to get their concealed gun carry license. Come take my class. If you need a place to live, I have a couple duplexes for rent right now at the present moment. If you got a loved one in jail, give me a call or be able to send me a text.
And so I need you making, you gotta go.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to bum me out of jail before I need you
No,
to do anything.
no.
So that's but we're friends after this.
All right, so you
Right.
can get a podcast on any podcast source. All you have to do is search for Love Wins by the Stewarts. The video will live on Brian Stewart Sr. And please subscribe. Please, T-Terror, don't walk out yet. I know you gotta use that bathroom. Kane gotta use the bathroom too.
No
So
bullshit.
please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button so you can get notifications when we have the episodes. And just this Friday night, Empire, the versus battle. Haywood King was versing Steven Spud Howard,
Yeah.
and.
I see Monica.
Yeah, we
Shout out to the camera lady.
Tell her to
Yeah.
get tickets.
Shout out to that girl Monica. Yeah, get your tickets at
Come on,
Empire Little Rock
Get
spelled
it,
out.
get it, get it, get it, get it.
Yeah, Empire Little Rock spelled out .eventbrite.com, or hit if you want to be on the show. Inbox my wife or myself, or send us an email to.
Stewart.loveland@gmail.com.
That's a wrap. Thank y'all for participating and
Thank you.
giving us 2
Thank you
weeks
guys
of
for
your life.
watching. Those that watching, thank you guys so much for participating and watching the show. We appreciate all your questions, concerns, whatever. So thank you guys so much. You guys have a good night.
It's a wrap.